Hey everyone! Are you ready to take your English listening skills to the next level? Let's get started.
Have you ever noticed how hard it is to work for just 20 minutes without touching your phone?
Absolutely, I feel like my attention span gets shattered by constant notifications every single day.
We live in a world designed to steal our attention, making true focus a genuine modern superpower.
That is so true, especially when even a quick buzz from a text completely derails my train of thought.
Scientists call that phenomenon attention residue, which means part of your brain stays stuck on whatever just interrupted you.
That explains why switching between tasks leaves me feeling exhausted even if I have not accomplished much.
Multitasking is actually an illusion because our brains are simply shifting back and forth at a high cost.
I used to pride myself on doing 5 things at once, but now I realize it just made my work sloppy.
If we want to produce high-quality work, we really have to learn the art of deep work.
I have heard that term often, but what does deep work actually look like in a daily routine?
It is the ability to concentrate without distraction on a cognitively demanding task for an extended period.
That sounds wonderful in theory, but my working environment is constantly filled with digital noise.
The first practical step is setting up environmental friction between you and your biggest distractions.
What do you mean by adding friction to our daily habits?
If you want to check your phone less, leave it in another room rather than right beside your keyboard.
That makes total sense because out of sight really does mean out of mind for our impulses.
When the phone is within arm's reach, your brain wastes valuable willpower just resisting the urge to look at it.
I noticed that whenever a task gets slightly difficult or boring, my hand automatically reaches for the screen.
That impulse happens because our brains crave quick dopamine hits whenever we experience momentary discomfort.
So scrolling through social media is essentially an escape mechanism from mental effort.
Exactly, and every time we give in to that urge, we reinforce a bad cognitive loop.
How can we break that loop when the craving to check messages strikes?
Try keeping a blank notebook beside you, which we can call a distraction capture pad.
How does a distraction pad help when a random thought pops up?
Whenever you remember a random chore or want to search something online, write it down and immediately return to your task.
That way my brain knows the idea will not be forgotten, so it stops nagging me.
Precisely, and you can review that list during your designated break time instead of interrupting your flow.
Speaking of breaks, how do you structure your work sessions throughout the day?
I rely heavily on a modified version of the classic Pomodoro technique.
Do you stick strictly to the traditional 25 minutes of work followed by a 5-minute rest?
I usually extend it to 50 minutes of deep focus followed by 10 minutes of genuine mental rest.
50 minutes feels like a solid sweet spot to get into a true state of flow.
It allows enough runway to solve complex problems without feeling rushed by a buzzing timer.
What do you usually do during those 10-minute rest periods?
I step away from all digital screens, grab a glass of water, or stretch my back.
That is a crucial distinction because scrolling through feeds during a break is not real rest for the mind.
Browsing news or social media floods your brain with new stimuli, which defeats the purpose of resting.
Your brain needs quiet downtime to consolidate information and recharge its cognitive batteries.
Another huge trap is letting our inboxes dictate our priorities first thing in the morning.
I am guilty of checking emails the moment I wake up, and it immediately fills me with anxiety.
When you check email first, you enter a reactive state where you solve everyone else's problems before your own.
How should we structure our mornings to protect our peak mental energy?
Dedicate the first 90 minutes of your workday entirely to your single most important project.
Before opening email, Slack, or any messaging apps whatsoever?
Exactly, treat that morning block as sacred and non-negotiable deep work time.
That sounds liberating because mornings are when our creative energy is typically at its highest peak.
You will find that finishing your hardest task early creates immense momentum for the rest of the day.
What should we do about communication expectations with colleagues or clients who expect fast replies?
You have to teach people how to communicate with you by establishing batch processing windows.
So instead of answering messages continuously, we check them at specific scheduled times?
Yes, checking incoming messages twice or 3 times a day is usually more than enough for most jobs.
Most messages feel urgent in the moment, but very few things actually require an immediate response.
If something is an absolute emergency, people will call you directly rather than sending a casual email.
That realization takes away so much unneeded pressure to be constantly available.
Digital boundaries are essential if you want to protect your peace of mind and professional output.
What role does our physical workspace play in maintaining mental clarity?
A cluttered physical desk often mirrors and amplifies a cluttered, chaotic mind.
Whenever my desk is piled with papers and random mugs, I definitely feel more scattered.
Keep only the tools you need for the current task on your desk to minimize visual stimulation.
What about digital clutter, like having 50 open browser tabs?
That is just as damaging because each open tab acts as a tiny visual anchor pulling at your subconscious.
Closing irrelevant tabs and keeping a clean desktop feels like clearing mental cobwebs.
You can use website blockers or dedicated browser profiles to lock down distracting websites during work blocks.
Those tools are fantastic guardrails for the moments when our willpower naturally dips.
Willpower is a finite resource, so we should rely on systems and structure rather than brute mental strength.
How do you train your brain if your focus is currently very weak and restless?
Think of focus as a physical muscle that grows stronger with gradual, progressive training.
So someone who struggles to sit still should not expect to do 3 hours of deep work immediately.
Not at all. Starting with just 15 minutes of unbroken concentration is a wonderful victory.
Once 15 minutes feels effortless, they can gradually expand it to 20, 30, and 40 minutes.
Exactly, consistency matters far more than intensity when you are rebuilding your attention span.
What if we sit down to work, but our minds feel foggy and unable to generate ideas?
That is often caused by poor physical foundations like lack of sleep, dehydration, or poor nutrition.
People often overlook how directly physical health influences cognitive performance and sharp thinking.
If you are running on 4 hours of sleep, no productivity technique in the world will save your focus.
High-quality sleep cleanses the brain and restores the neurotransmitters needed for deep concentration.
Getting direct sunlight into your eyes early in the morning also sets your internal circadian clock properly.
That natural light exposure boosts alertness during the day and improves melatonin production at night.
Staying properly hydrated keeps your brain from feeling sluggish and mentally drained throughout the afternoon.
It is amazing how basic lifestyle habits provide the raw fuel for mental stamina.
What do you find to be your biggest hurdle when sitting down to start a major project?
For me, it is the initial friction of starting. Staring at a blank page feels utterly paralyzing.
That is classic task initiation anxiety, where our perfectionism makes the project seem impossible.
How do you overcome that initial wall of resistance when beginning something new?
I use the 2-minute rule and tell myself I only need to write for 2 short minutes.
Lowering the bar so drastically makes the task feel harmless and easy to begin.
Once you start typing for 2 minutes, momentum takes over and the friction vanishes entirely.
Getting started really is the hardest part of almost every meaningful endeavor.
Another technique is breaking big, ambiguous projects into tiny, actionable micro steps.
Instead of writing finish presentation, we could write outline the first 3 slides.
Specificity reduces cognitive overwhelm and gives your brain a clear path forward without hesitation.
How should we handle the inevitable days when our focus completely falls apart despite our best efforts?
Practice self-compassion instead of spiraling into frustration and negative self-talk.
Beating ourselves up only adds emotional distress to an already unproductive day.
Accept that focus fluctuates naturally, take a restorative walk, and reset your intentions for tomorrow.
How important is having a clear shutdown ritual at the end of the workday?
A shutdown ritual is critical because it tells your brain that work is officially complete for the day.
What specific steps do you include in your evening shutdown routine?
I review what I accomplished, write down the top 3 priorities for tomorrow, and close all work tabs.
That simple act prevents work worries from following you into your evening relaxation and dinner.
It creates a firm boundary between professional effort and personal recovery time.
When you know tomorrow is already planned out, your mind can truly let go and rest.
True rest is the foundation that allows you to show up with razor-sharp focus the following day.
It really is an interconnected cycle of deep focus, smart recovery, and intentional living.
When you master your attention, you regain control over your time, your goals, and your future.
In a world filled with endless noise, choosing what to ignore is the ultimate skill.
Reclaiming our focus allows us to create work that genuinely matters and brings deep fulfillment.
I feel so inspired to silence my notifications and dive straight into my most meaningful project today.
Take it one deep breath and one focused session at a time. You have everything you need to succeed.